Hi guys, I am going live here. Just one sec. Working on, all right, here we are. All right, great to be here. It is time for our Q&A Mondays where we go over questions that you guys send regarding diets or fattening and how to live and be a healthy, thin person, healthy, thin eater instead of dieting, which is something you've been doing probably for a very long time. If you're at all like me, it dieted for many, many years, and now a healthy, thin mentality eater, there is no comparison, and for sure it's worth it to build your healthy, thin mentality instead. So the questions I want to go over today are, first, people asking, okay, so what happens when you're not hungry? I know for you guys who are thinking about becoming a healthy, thin person, you're thinking, well, I'd always be hungry. Well, no, you wouldn't. And this is your diet mentality seeping in, telling you that. But the truth is, you won't always be hungry. And when you aren't hungry, what do? You don't eat, period. So this is very simple. This is very practical. This is very responsive to what a healthy, thin mentality is. So keep that thought in your head that if you're not hungry, you do not eat, period. End of worry. And if you think, well, that's not healthy, I haven't eaten all night or whatever, just dismiss all those thoughts. What you're doing here when you're learning how to behave thin is you're learning how to eat as a naturally thin person would, which is in response to hunger. And so many things get in the way of that. And I know it's hard at first, but it gets easier as you go along. So if you're sitting there and you're not hungry and you're concerned, relax. You will be fine. When hunger is present again, you will eat, and that is exactly what you want to do. You don't want to waste your time worrying about something that isn't a problem. And you not being hungry is not a problem. That's your body sending you a message. Okay, now I'll say real quick, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not anything in the healthcare business. What I am is a common sense thinker. I've worked in the diet industry for a long time, and I'm just telling you what I see and telling you the result of dieting is not thinness. The result of dieting is more dieting, and I don't think that's what you want. I'm pretty sure. Let me know if it is, but you know darn well that dieting is a miserable way to be. So we're releasing ourselves from that paradigm which says that the way to be thin is to diet, and instead we're engaging with the paradigm that no, to be thin, behave thin. And what is thin behavior? Thin behavior is connecting eating with hunger, pure and simple. So again, no hungry, not hungry, do not eat, period. And that is the first step of building your healthy thin mentality, is connecting not eating with not hunger and connecting eating with hunger. So just as I say, respect non-hunger, also respect hunger. It doesn't do you any good to not eat when you are hungry. That completely disconnects you. We're working on connection. We're working on bringing your body and what you provide your body and hunger and satiety all together so that you have a guide, you have a way to know what, when, and how much to eat. You do have it. You have to recognize that you have it and re-engage with that beautiful signals that your body was born with. You re-engage with them and everything gets so much better pretty quickly. So if you are an emotional eater, and we had someone post in our private Facebook group about, as a child having some trauma, when she was a child having some trauma in her life and learning to comfort herself with food. That's a really great question, and lots of us have done that. Here's the thing. First, recognize that it doesn't work, right? That if you want to take yourself out of a traumatic situation or cope with it, eating isn't the answer. But on the other hand, so that's kind of a cold way for me to say that and look at it, but on the other hand, eating is emotional. And people who try to separate that out from eating, like say, well, no, eating is purely for, you go in the refrigerator and you pick out the things that are on your list for that week, and then you eat that and you don't look elsewhere, and you don't eat when you're emotional because that's emotional eating. Okay, what we're trying to do here is behave normally. And what normal behavior is with regarding to food is if you feel bad and you find great comfort in eating, well then eat when you're hungry. That's the thing. And we confuse saying no eating because you feel bad or whatever with no eating because you feel bad when you're not hungry. And there's a huge difference. So if you feel like you're an emotional eater and you find comfort in that, fine, simply wait for hunger and then comfort yourself with food when you're hungry. And that is how you kind of get around that problem of saying, well, I eat emotionally, so I'm not really hungry, but I just eat. Okay, hold on. No, you're really hungry That's not emotional eating, so eat. Say, okay, I feel bad. I feel like I want to comfort myself with food. That's fine. You get to do that several times a day. Just delay until your hunger actually peaks and then comfort yourself with food. And there's nothing wrong with that. And again, that's another fallacy, another myth that has built over time within the diet industry and the nutrition industry, and all the experts saying, oh, separate food from emotion. That is ridiculous. Food is very emotional. Food is loved for when you're a little kid. That's your mommy giving you food. That's a big deal. That doesn't just go away over time. It actually gets stronger. So when you're feeling blue or bored or whatever, you say, okay, I would really be really great to eat right now. Okay, well, prepare your food, get ready to eat, do all those things, but don't actually ingest the food until hunger actually emerges. And it will emerge soon, because that's the way hunger works. You get hungry many times a day. So you got plenty of time, plenty of opportunity to have a delicious meal when you feel like you just want to take care of yourself, or you've had a hard day, or there's something you just really want to comfort yourself about. Fine. Do it with food when you're hungry. Okay, I know I've said that like 10 times now, but it's a really big deal. That's how you want to think about it. Not as separating it out, not as, well, I don't feel bad, so maybe I feel bad, so maybe I shouldn't eat because then no. If you feel bad and you're hungry, comfort yourself with food. If you feel bad but you're not hungry, prepare food, get ready to eat, just delay eating actually until the hunger actually emerges. So I had another question this week on gaining weight after a diet and coming to work on your healthy thin mentality. I'll never lie. If you've just come off a diet and you're trying to build your healthy thin mentality, you will go through a transition where maybe you'll keep the same weight, maybe you'll gain. And have you ever heard anyone who's trying to propose a weight loss thing to you say those words? But they're true. If you've just come off a diet, the most normal thing that happens right after a diet is a weight gain. It's not because you're building your healthy thin mentality, it's because of the diet you were on. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's a bummer, I know. And if you just came off a diet and you're feeling kind of good, but you realize that you don't want to do that for the rest of your life, so now you want to build your healthy thin mentality, well, let's go. But just recognize that your body is freaked out from the diet you went on. Even if it wasn't a severe diet, your body is in calorie saving mode, not calorie burning mode. And when you get in calorie burning mode, that's when you're matching eating with hunger, and your body gets in a rhythm and doesn't hoard calories because it's safe. You're not starving it anymore, right? So when you're in that and you feel good, that's where you want to stay. But if you have just come off a diet and you are gaining some weight after the diet and you're not weighing yourself, because we don't weigh ourselves here, because not to free ourselves and let us just gain weight, but because weighing yourself sabotages weight loss. Because, and this is all in the workbook, but anytime you weigh yourself, it triggers eating actually. Strangely, it does. It triggers eating. So step away from the scale. But if you're post-diet and you feel like you're gaining weight, well, you might be. But it doesn't last, and it's an important step to go through. I'm not talking about major weight gain, but you have to adjust to this new protocol where you're eating with hunger. You just came off a diet, you were under eating, you're going to go off the diet, you're going to gain some weight back, no matter what you're doing. But as you're doing that, start engaging with your healthy thin mentality to correct that, to rebalance, to get your body calm again, so that you won't gain weight, so that over time you make that adjustment. And hey guys, go to the private Facebook group. There's so many discussions about this. People saying, I didn't think this would work. I gained weight at first. And you get through that initial phase. And I know what I'm saying is turning people off. I know, because they're saying, well, I don't want to gain weight. I can't do that. What are you going to do? What else is going to work? If you want to be skinny by in a couple of weeks and celebrate some party in a skinnier dress or pants or whatever, okay, but you'll be back here and you'll have gained more weight. So, me putting out the truth to you is that after you are on a diet, you gain weight. I'm telling you the truth. But the beautiful part of building your healthy thin mentality is that ends. And you come and you join this group of people who understands that weight loss and weight gain are the result of dieting. And weight gain is the result of dieting over time. There are other ways to gain weight, but many of us gained weight, including me, over time by dieting, because you lose weight, you gain back more. You lose weight, you gain back more. So if you hit us in that moment when we've lost weight and we feel so good and we're like, okay, this is it, this is it. But then you know what happens. It creeps in. The weight loss creeps in again. So if you're here and you just have been off a diet and that's happening to you, do not blame building your healthy thin mentality on that. That's the diet you were on, okay? And so I'm not telling you that you're going to immediately start losing weight if you were just on a diet and you come here. If you were not just on a diet and you've kind of been stable for a while, you absolutely can lose weight here, starting soon, starting immediately, really, as soon as you start connecting eating with hunger. But the payback weight gain from the diet that you went on, we can't dismiss here. If we could dismiss that, then my whole message would mean nothing, because I'm telling you that the reason you gain weight is because of the previous diets in your life. And the first diet you went on was a real high and you lost weight and you felt great, but that set you up for gaining weight and then going on another diet where you thought, oh, well, the diet worked. It was me who was bad. No, the diet didn't work. The diet was a short-term, quick fix, but you gained weight back. So that's the diet not working. Because like if you went to someone to fix your car and it worked on the drive home, but then when you got home, it was broken again, would you say he fixed your car? No, you'd say that didn't work. Well, it's the same thing with dieting. If you go on a diet and you lose some weight and you think, okay, but then you immediately gain it back, why are you thinking that diet worked? That diet didn't work. That diet is leaving you heavier than ever. So I'm just trying to give you this pep talk to say, if you are just coming off a diet and you're trying to build your healthy thin mentality, be gentle with yourself, because it's not going to happen immediately. But if you can back up your lens of your life, the view of your life that you have, and say, I want to solve this once and for all. I don't want to be here in a year going on another diet, or at Christmas going on another diet, or whatever cycle you're in on how many diets you're doing every year. You want to say, no, this is crazy. I want to fix this problem permanently. Then we're here. That's what we're doing here. We're solving this problem for the rest of your life so that you can be in a healthy, happy weight easily, with no fretting, no weird diets, no constant angst, no stress, no fearing of buffets, fearing of going to parties or skipping events, or just feeling bad about yourself, because there's nothing worse on your self-esteem, really. Well, there are, but one of the worst things you can do, seriously, think about this. When you've lost weight, you feel great. When you gain it back, what does that do to you? How do you feel? And you see people looking at you, maybe someone you live with gives you a hard time, or, wow, look at her or him. You know it, and you feel bad. That's what but we do it over and over again because we think this will be the time. It's not the time, guys. It's never going to be the time. The first diet you went on in your entire life ignited that little fire in you saying, oh, look, it's the diet. The diets work. Again, they don't work. The car is still broken. You're broken. Diet doesn't work. It's short-term, makes you lose a little weight, and then you gain it back. So it's actually completely corrupting you. So then I had another great question of someone asking, so if I wake up in the morning and I'm not hungry, could that be because I overloaded my stomach the night before? And she thought she had. Yes, yes, yes. Think how reasonable that is. If you overload your stomach, you go out to dinner, you overeat, maybe you have a glass of wine and you eat too much, whatever it is. Yeah, the next day you're not as hungry, right? So why would you treat that next morning like in a routine way? Like when we're dieters, we tend to do that. Oh, I get up and I have this and this and this, every day. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in a box like that? Why wouldn't you say, hey, I'm going to wait and see how I feel. I'm going to wait and see if I'm hungry. Well, I worked out really hard yesterday. That must be why I'm so hungry today, or whatever it is. Give your body a chance to give you the signal for hunger, not you telling your body what it needs. Your body is way ahead of you when it comes to that, when it comes to understanding what it is you need and what it is that not only what it is you need, but when and how much, which, really, what else could be better than to have your own app, which is your voice. And that is the beginning of week 2, which we're going to hit right now. If you guys are new, we have a workbook that we go through. I'm going through it really slowly because I want to hit all the points and I want to answer questions every week. So week 2 is, why does it seem revolutionary to eat what your body is craving when you're hungry? Why does that seem so strange? Okay, so like on the beginning of every week, there's a quote, and this is a great one. Why does it seem strange? Why does that seem strange to eat what your body's craving? Why does that seem bad? Okay, it's because we've been taught our whole lives that we can't be trusted. And when you're a dieter and you've gained some weight, let's say your first diet you go on, you're a young person, maybe people in your household have dieted, you see it all over the television. So like it backfires before you even do a diet, because I am sure there are people, young people who go, I'm eating too much right now, but I'll just diet like my mom does or my dad does or my sisters do, or I see the celebrities on television. So even before, ironically, your very first diet, you're already eating because you see a diet in your future. And if you didn't have that as an option, if you really didn't have that as an option, you would behave differently and you would accept things like this. Why does it seem so revolutionary to eat what your body is craving? But because we get all vulnerable and because we're like, wow, I really just need to lose weight now. I'm gonna follow this new diet, or I'm gonna do this because my body, if I just trusted my body, I would just eat junk all the time. And I know I really say this a lot, but no, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. You only think that, and the diet industry props up this vision of you for you so that you engage with the diet industry, meaning you pay them so they tell you what, when, how much to eat. Really, like, again, the Noom app, which is gaining so much speed, I see it out there. It makes me so sad because it's basically saying, turn off the app that you live in, the beautiful, always charged, always there for you, perfectly built for you, and instead pay us money and we'll do a personalized program, which is a bunch of bull. It's not personalized. They have millions of people. It's not personalized to you guys. And that's just one example, this particular app that I'm talking about, Noom. God, don't go do it. So you trade in all the wisdom that you have for a thing on your phone that's going to tell you what and how much to eat. And so then you do that and you go, well, so I maybe wouldn't have eaten that. I would have eaten this over here, but the app is steering me the right way. No, it's not. When you get through that initial reacquainting yourself with what food works for you, and we're all different. We are all different in what food works for us, what time of day different food works for us. You may think that you can't handle sugar at all. Maybe you can't handle it in the afternoon like I can't. But if I eat it in the morning, it's fantastic. You learn all these things about yourself. That's what no app will ever do for you. Be as connected with you as you are. So instead of saying, I can't trust myself, say, no, I can't trust myself when I'm interrupted by all of this diet messaging, telling me all these negative things about me and my ability to eat and know what to eat and how much. That's true. Then you're corrupted. But when you take away that layer of corruption and you get quiet and you say, what do I really want right now? I really want salty French fries. I'm really craving that right now. I don't know why. And don't worry about it. And eat them and say, this food, when I'm hungry, is not fattening. Fattening is eating when it's irrelevant. When is it irrelevant to eat? When you're not hungry. And in the beginning, you're not used to this. You're not used to connecting with hunger. You're not used to waiting for hunger. You're not used to anticipating hunger joyfully, which is what we do here. So you go, well, I just don't know if that can't possibly be okay. French fries are a bad food. That's what I eat when I'm binging. That's what I eat when I'm not dieting. French fries are not a bad food. And I'm bringing up that particular food because I think a lot of people like them. And, oh, no French fries. I'll have fruit with the hamburger or whatever, or chicken sandwich. If you want French fries, eat them and be done with it and move on with your day. And then you take the power away from that food. And that is what you want to do. You want to be in charge of the food. You don't want the food to be in charge of you. And by you, I mean your body. You want your body to go, today I don't want French fries. Can you believe that you will say that? You will. You will actually have times when a food that you really love, that you think is bad, that you have full permission to eat, you just don't eat it because you just don't want it. Why? I don't know. You just don't want it. You want something crunchy and green or something totally different. And these things, I know they seem like revolutionary. It's not, guys. It's not. And if I could, take myself back to 20 years ago when I first started doing this, I would be going, really? Yeah, I know, but it's really true. You really do get in tune with what you want, with what you crave, and all the things that are tempting to you. It's not that you don't enjoy them, but they're not tempting because they're not tempting unless you're craving them specifically, because you can have them whenever you crave them. everything changes. Everything changes. Everything changes. If you don't believe that, go into our private Facebook group. Just all you have to do is request to join. There's 2 of them. There's dietsarefattening.com on Facebook. There's Diets Are Fattening Workbook. And just see what other people are saying too. You don't have to believe just me. But in the beginning, when you're going through and you're relearning how to eat, and you are 100% relearning how to eat, just like a little kid. So be easy on yourself and just say, my only rule, and I only like using that word, my only guide, my only thing I have to ask myself is, am I hungry? Well, I don't know. I know you don't. You will. You have never asked yourself that in the last 10 years, right? So are you actually hungry? Do you even want this now? Or something else that you want? Did you make this? You'll do stuff in the beginning, like you'll make yourself something and it won't be what you want and you won't eat it and you'll make something else instead. That's a little bit of a pain in the neck at first. Yeah. Is it worth it? Yes. And you will get really good at knowing what to make at what time. Like, oh, I think I'm going to crave this later on today. I kind of know myself and yeah, I think that's going to be really good in a few hours. You'll be able to do that. And that is when it gets easier, and that's when you're so free and you never have to worry about about food anymore. You go to events, you're open to go, what delicious things are here for me to try? I'm hungry. Or, I'm not hungry yet. We're going to be here for a while. I'll wait a couple hours before I eat anything. If it's, a party that goes all night or whatever, those kinds of things happen. And that's when your healthy thin mentality takes you, and you no longer have diet angst. Your weight goes to your happy, healthy, ideal weight range for you. It does not get you weird skinny. It gets you in a happy, healthy weight range for you. The weight that you started at before you went on your first diet. I know so many people who say, oh my God, if I was the weight that I was when I went on my first diet, I would be so happy. And yeah, and the reason you're not is because of that diet and all the subsequent diets you went on, which left you heavier and heavier and heavier over time. That's how it happened, guys. So if you're going through the workbook, and I hope you are, make sure you do the 3 things every day. Real quick, you always have food with you because that keeps you calm. And you say, I don't think I'm hungry, but I could be. So I have this little thing in my pocket or in my purse or my desk at work or whatever. I can eat that very quickly, and you can eat enough to get you by very quickly, even if you have like a really tough job. I mean, I know there's some jobs that would be impossible. Being a nurse in ICU, that might not work, but do the best you can to have a little something you can take a few bites of so that you don't preventatively eat. You say, no, if I'm hungry, I have this. I'll be okay. And also remember something I said last week, which I don't think I highlight enough. When you're hungry, that little pack of saltines in your pocket is delicious. It's absolutely fantastic because you're hungry. So you don't have to get real picky with what you bring. You'll be so glad you have something, right? That's what we want. We want to get into that burn where we're looking for hunger. We want to be hungry because when you're hungry, you've connected to that reason to eat, the only reason to eat. And then you can satisfy that. You don't over-satisfy it. You just calm it down to 0. So you're riding along in your day. 0 means no hunger, no hunger. And then you get hungry, and you just bring it down to 0. You don't go underneath where you're full, where you feel overloaded. That's not what you want. Because when you feel that way, you don't perform as well. You're lethargic. Don't take all the energy and everything from your body and shove it to your stomach to digest an enormous meal. No, ride that wave. I'm hungry. Okay, I'm bringing myself back down. And again, joyful anticipation of hunger. That is what you want. And if you find yourself never being hungry, then you're definitely not going to be losing weight. You need to get into that. You need to value that hunger. You need to work with your hunger and go, yeah, I'm using my hunger right now. I'm a little hungry. I'm waiting and making sure I'm hungry, and then I'm going to eat just what I need to calm it down. And every single bite is going to be so fantastic because I'm hungry. And you want hunger. You don't want to be on one of those diets where hunger shuts down. That is the worst. That is the 100% worst thing to do. All right, so you always have food with you. Every day you have on your phone or on your mirror one of our mantras, one of the sayings that you like best. They're all in the back of the workbook. I'm just going to open one real quick and see. Here's one that you might, if you're tempted by cleanses. I just opened up in the back here. A cleanse may empty out your digestive system so you weigh less. Geez, an empty colon. How exciting. These are just little things just to keep you tied in with the wisdom of what we're doing here. And cleanses are still kind of a big thing around. And, I lost weight on this cleanse. No, you didn't. Your guts are empty. That's what you did. And they'll be full again really soon. Silly things like that. So you I'm saying have that on your phone, one of those sayings, not that one necessarily, but whatever sayings work for you, one of the mantras in back. And keep that on you so that you feel connected to that and you feel the wisdom of that. Andy, question for you. What is the range of time people usually take to adopt a healthy thin mentality? Great question. And Russ, yep, great question. Hi, Ruth Ann. It depends. It depends on you. And what I would encourage you to do is join our private Facebook group and just see what people are doing there. Some people, it takes longer. Some people, it's really quick. Some people start losing weight immediately. Some people fight the urge to listen to themselves. So they take longer because they don't trust themselves initially, which is understandable because of all we've been through with dieting and everything. But as soon as you can, do the mental, I don't want to say work, the introspection of realizing your true history with dieting and realizing what has actually happened in your life, the sooner you will come to, yeah, this sounds really reasonable. And that's where you want to be. So there's ways to accelerate it. And the way to accelerate it is to give this some thought. And Google dieting and Google do diets work. And long-term diet studies, they're not long-term. The ones that say, this diet worked and 6 months later, 80% or that's never 80%, 40% of the people kept their weight off. 6 months? That's not long term. So be discriminating when you read stuff and say, yeah, that makes no sense because dieting is really hard to study. Like monitoring and having people in studies regarding food and eating is really difficult because self-reporting is hard. People don't even realize how much or how little they're eating. It's just a cluster, really. So instead of going that route and trying to fix, how can we fix these diet studies? Don't do that. Think about you. Think about what is reasonable. Think about your life and what has happened to you with food during your life and what has a long-term effect been. So you grasp that concept and you go, yeah, you know what? This actually makes really good sense that eating and hunger should go together, right? Yes, like when I feed my dog, it's because he's hungry. I don't really want to talk about dogs domesticated because some of them are heavy because of what we do. But, in the wild, when they're hungry, they work tirelessly to get food. And when they're not, they lay around. I mean, really normal behavior. I mean, I'm saying such basic things. And this isn't some complicated path we need to follow. The crux of it, though, is debreeding our brain of all the complicated diet stuff that makes us think that we have a certain combination or a certain time of day or a certain perfect exercise routine. All these things, guys, are just money makers for people who are selling those. What you want is calm, connecting with the incredible joy of eating when you're hungry and saying, that's when I want to eat. I want to eat when I'm hungry because it's freaking fantastic, and it's not when I'm not hungry. So I'm saying that it really does depend on you. My best advice is to go on the private Facebook group and ask people there. If you put a shout out question, people answer you, and it'll be great. Either one of those groups. Intermittent fasting, yeah, that's the rage now. And I'll tell you what, I intermittent fast every day. Why? Because I usually. Intermittent fasting is different periods of time, but I thought about this because someone asked me this a while ago, and I generally easily go 14 hours without eating because I go to bed and I usually dinner, I don't know, it's really random, different days, but let's say 7 or 8. I frequently don't eat until noon the next day or 11. So that's my body has guided me towards that anyway. And I think that many, many people would do that if they were open to just listening to hunger. For some reason, that's how my body works. But I have other people who I know are great, healthy, thin mentality people who require breakfast in the morning, and that's fine. Maybe they go a longer period of time in the afternoon. But intermittent fasting is a huge catchphrase, and I know that if you Google that, they say there's health benefits to it. What I say to you is really don't worry about it, because all of these studies, if you look in the past 40 years, all the diet studies are eventually refuted. They say it's good for you, then they find something else that it's bad for you. So just don't worry about it. Maybe intermittent fasting has some benefits. I don't know. Connect to your healthy thin mentality and see what your body tells you. Because your beautiful, strong, smart body, smarter than any computer that's even close to being made, right? We got it here. Our hard drive is fantastic, and we ignore it. We choose to pay a pathetic app, however much it costs, and I don't know, to replace what we got going on here. Can you imagine? Think about that. That's just so ridiculous. Connect, listen. Am I hungry? What am I hungry for? How much do I need more? These are the questions that a healthy thin mentality person asks, and healthy thin mentality people are trying to reconnect with the natural thin mentality you were born with. I use the word healthy all the time because the word thin gets kind of pejorative. People don't always like that word. Healthy thin, right? That's where we're going for. We're going for a great body you're proud of. You fit in clothes that are a size that you like, and you don't have to worry about it all the time. And so the 3 things in the morning, we're still on that. Have food with you. Get a mantra or a statement that you like and have it with you all the time so you can always connect. You see a friend who's lost weight, let me look at my phone screen to remind me that that's great for her, wish her well, but that's not the path I'm going. And then, yes, make use of our community. You got these questions, put them out there so you don't think that you don't have to rely that it's just me saying this. And you'll see some people get a healthy thin mentality more quickly than others, but I think almost to a person that people get the wisdom of this. And it's, to me, the tipping point for people is if they put in the time and energy to really digest what I'm saying here. And I know I do these videos and I kind of ramble because there's so many points I want to cover. And if you're a person who's just kind of stopping in for a second, I want you to hear the wisdom quickly. But what I'm saying is so reasonable, guys. It's so reasonable. It is the way out of a diet mentality and into the body that you want, that you can be proud of. And, the people who say just be heavy and fine, that's great. Our message here is for people who want to actually be a certain size that's consistent with how Mother Nature built them. I always say that, like, we're not all born to be lanky girls and men. Some of us are born a little rounder, and that's beautiful. But we're trying to connect with that to be our best representation of us, not of some model, not of some friend that we have that's tall and skinny, whatever. It's you. You could only be the best representation of you, and your healthy thin mentality will get you there. And you have to take the patience to like, that's why I made the workbook, because the book I wrote was about my journey and kind of why. This is how. This is showing you that reflection and a weekly commitment to writing a few things will get into your soul, and you'll go, yeah, this is really smart. This is the way out. Nothing that we're saying here is strange or cultish. It's just, when you're hungry, people eat. When you're not hungry, don't. Because that's a basic message. But how do you do that? Because getting there is, just because we've been trained the opposite. The strategies to get there are basically reflection on your past, your true view of what your life as a dieter has been, the true reality of it, no sugarcoating, and then saying, how can I make specific changes to apply a thin mentality, the one that I was born with? And yes, you were. Yes, you were. The one that Mother Nature gave me to say, hey, you're hungry, get something, survive. Hey, you're not hungry, don't send food down the hatch. It's not going to taste good. I'm not going to give your taste buds are not going to explode with happiness. So no, that's a time to not eat and get that normal rhythm going. And it's like a wheel going downhill. Once you can push it off the top, I'm telling you guys, it gets easier, and you won't have to give it thought anymore. I never give it thought except for when I do these videos. It's absolutely an easy part of life. And I was a dieter for 25 years. I know the ins and outs of that mentality, and I know how destructive it is. I know how it takes your time and energy away from other way better things. So let me just check and see if there's any last little question here. That is what my body's doing by itself. I don't think of, yeah, great, yes. Some of you guys will automatically intermittently fast for a certain amount of hours, and some of you won't. So just because I'm saying that, don't go, oh, I'm not doing that. That must be the problem. No. We're all different. We're all different. We're different ages. We're different sizes to begin with. We're different ancestry. We're different sexes. Everything is going to be specifically formulated for you by your body. So we're not leading you to anyone else's voice but your own. So make sure that you don't have, someone saying, well, I don't eat from, 8 to noon the next day. Don't let that interfere with you listening to you. I'm just saying that the very interesting thing is your body will lead you towards what's really good for you. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It's so normal. It's such a reasonable thing to think happens, right? So please, shoot me more questions. Put them in the comments here or in our Facebook group. Again, to be in the Facebook groups, you just have to go and request to join. You're in. There's no requirement. There used to be, but I took them off because I just want you guys to get as much help as you can to get your healthy thin mentality going. It's the best gift you'll ever give yourself, 100%. And if you have kids or friends, model this behavior for them and you will spread it, which is what we want, because this is no stress. This is a joyful relationship with food and eating, and this is slimming, right? And I know that's what we want, and that's fine. It's okay to want to be slim. So have a great week, and I will be back soon next week, and I'll have another video out this week of what I used to do what I eat Wednesdays. It'll be another just kind of a day in the life of a healthy thin mentality eating, just to give you some really good examples of that. So great to be with you, and I will be back soon. Hey, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you.